Hey guys, we're live.
All right.
Really?
Mhm.
Are you sure?
I don't believe you.
We are live. Look at, I got the update.
And
Watch the
Maria?
live.
What's the
I
timestamp
didn't
on
get
it?
the update. Lies.
It's legitimately live. This is going to be recorded.
This is going to be, it's already being recorded.
It's being recorded as we speak.
Right now.
Hello, everyone. These people are crazy.
And
By these people, he means himself.
And his
I'm
voice is in his head.
scared now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Remember.
The quality looks pretty good.
The 5th of November. Gunpowder treason.
Wait, we're live on YouTube.
Duh.
YouTube it.
We haven't been live in a really long time.
Well,
Yeah,
we
it's
are
been a
now.
while.
So,
Okay.
act the part.
Act like.
Hold on. Now we're live. Yeah, that's good.
Nice.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 39.
On the Full Stroke podcast.
Yes.
Yes.
What?
Okay.
Apparently,
We're live.
Tim has some parasite from the outer rim.
What's that?
Tim has some parasite.
Excuse me.
Oh, I missed when that would
There it
happen.
Okay.
Classic.
Tim, take control over this thing, man. You got the script.
All right. Well, first,
Uh-huh.
introduce Micah.
Introduce yourself.
Introduce yourself, Micah.
This is Micah.
Hello, I'm Izzy.
I'm Sarah.
I'm Tim.
And I am Lewis.
And today, to start off the Star Wars podcast, we're going to talk about a new project that the Star Wars world is doing, and it's about porgs. So, Star Wars is putting out a project, which is a porg mixed reality experiment. This came out. This was announced on October 8th by ILM X Lab. Project Porg will be released for free download on Magic Leap 1 this December. So porgs, and more porgs, these fluffy creatures first seen in Star Wars The Last Jedi, are back again, this time in mixed reality with the latest immersive experiment, Star Wars Project Porg. So in the Porg project, you will need to gain the trust and affection of your porgs by offering them treats and playing with them,
It's like
teaching
That
them how
sounds
to
amazing.
maneuver real-world environments with careful instructions from Star Wars' most meticulous droid, C-3PO.
It's like the little Tamagotchi pet. that you had to, like,
Neopets.
feed and, yeah. Or that.
That's a
Sure.
lot, so from what I've seen in the pictures, and I don't know if it's like holographic or not, you get like a holographic C-3PO,
Mm-hmm.
but it's like a stand, maybe a little bit shorter than this mic, just a stand. And it has, I believe it has C-3PO in the middle as the person doing the instructions
Mm-hmm.
or helping you teach your porgs. And then you have your porgs set around that table or that thing. And
It's cute.
yeah, so and you can offer them treats, you can play with them. You can have fun with the environments around the area.
Can you barbecue
like-
them for chewing?
You can steak them, yeah. You can have a cookout like Chewie. But yeah, they have that going on for them. So that'd be interesting to see if they do come out with a holographic item or a hologram item.
Do you think that's going to be a big Christmas item for the kids?
Yeah, I think
For the
so.
kids, what about me?
Oh, you want one?
I kind of do now.
Sarah was like excited. I was like,
I know, that's really cute.
I mean, it could be a collectible too, or like a
Uh-huh.
a token kind of item to have. Because I don't know if they're something like that for the kids. To me, that sounds expensive. So I don't think that many are going to be manufactured or produced. What are you going to say, Micah? What are your thoughts?
What
Can we barbecue them for chewing?
what is it again? I'm confused.
It's like a toy?
Is it like a tablet? Or do
No.
you download it on
Is
your
it a
tablet?
VR?
Is it like something you hold?
The porgs you can hold.
Birdie.
So it's a port that you can hold.
Yeah. The ports you can hold. I mean, you
And then
have a
you-
stand
And then you download.
that has your C3PO with your AI basically to help you with
Oh.
commands and everything. Kind of like
Okay.
your Alexa, only at C3PO.
Yes.
Are they? Because they're in the world. So are you like looking at that on your like computer, or is it on your phone, or?
No, it's well, I'm pretty sure they can use that application on your phone, probably to link it up or sync it up and help you maneuver them or find new ways to play with the ports.
Or if it's
Yeah.
like Pokemon Go and you kind of like take your port and
Oh.
go places.
Oh, that'd be really cute.
Of course, you can get cute.
I haven't. Well, that was when they announced it, so there wasn't. They were going to announce more details later, and I haven't heard those details yet. So
Oh, okay.
Okay.
for right now, it's that's the only information that we have until. I should have more information soon.
So that port is going to have AI to learn from you, right? It's the end of the world.
That's what I'm
Ports
saying.
are taking over.
Oh.
Sarah's gonna be their
Oh,
master.
God. Yeah.
Master of
Oh my
ports
God.
instead of master of puppets.
Yes.
Master.
Bar.
Master.
Messing up, sir.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting.
That
So it says you need to gain a trust and affection of your ports, so they're going to be needy. They're going to be wanting.
Oh.
So they
to
are
play.
like-
They're going to be
you're like a baby.
Star Wars Furby.
Yeah.
You could teach them the curse words and shit. You could do that with the Furbies.
No.
Like if you
What?
had, yeah,
No.
yes.
I don't think it would touch you.
I heard one
No.
curse for real. I don't. Maybe they didn't recognize it as a curse word, but it would say something like hell or damn or something like that.
That's
Oh.
creepy. That's scary.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, because
that's
it was
creepy.
around. Because I guess they had it in the living room, and I forgot exactly how it was. I think like it was a friend of my mom's at the school, I think, and like I don't remember the circumstance, but maybe it was a grandma bought it for the child, and it stayed in the house, and like they were cursing a lot or something, so they took it back because
Maybe it's
the Furby at
possessed.
that point was starting to like curse.
Maybe it is possessed.
Oh my God. I can't.
Well, if it had an owner, it was possessed. So.
But even
No.
today,
Oh my God.
but I'm sure there's certain words back then, or I want to say back then, but I mean we are talking about I guess like the later '90s, like that probably wouldn't be
Like
as
20 years ago.
Yeah, I legit thought there was like when I was around that time, when the Teletubby toys were around,
yeah.
like those things were saying some abnormal stuff.
But they don't even say
But
normal
then-
things to begin with.
No, I mean like yeah, but like you hear it differently.
Hug
Like,
me, friend.
yeah, like you hear that. Okay, you hear "hug me, friend" or whatever. Like just for, as an example, but like as an adult, you know, you've heard things. So I mean, when you hear it, it sounds like they're saying something else, and it sounds very mature
It's Andy doll.
rated, and it's like very. I think they did it intentionally. Like
You're
you
walking
have-
by.
Oh.
Praise Satan.
yeah, like,
Wow.
shit like that.
Hey,
You
what did you say?
Speaking of like curse.
Hello,
dolls and
friend.
stuff. Yeah.
on the dark Lord. Excuse me.
That's horrible.
Can you imagine like
Could you-
having this?
Could you imagine if
Oh
you're
my
able to?
God, I would set it on fire.
Could you
so
imagine
fast.
if you had that and you're able to
No,
program
I
it,
would
but
set
you
that
wouldn't
shit
tell
on
anyone
fire.
else? And so you walk by and would say shit like that.
Throw it in a trash
Take the knife
can,
out of
set
the
it on
kitchen.
fire. Nope. Nope. Nope.
I'm feeling all evil today.
All the nope.
Sorry, sorry.
Sorry, guys.
Got that new Chucky movie coming out.
What?
Really?
Yeah,
Damn.
They're,
he's in Oakland right now.
they're rebooting Chucky to like the story is now is like you have okay, so he was cursed, like it was like voodoo back then, like magic. They put this murderer, like they try to bring him back to life, and his murderous spirit himself went into like the doll, and then that's how he came back to life.
I like that segue. We did get back to Master of Puppets.
But now the new Chucky
Doll
is
puppet.
Yeah. Not really.
he's
What you loved as a child? Sarah?
shit, I can't remember exactly how, but it's using like the technology, like technology gone bad, and now Chucky's
Oh.
like the AI, whatever,
Oh.
or
Once more, Sarah won't believe it. Oh.
Oh.
Yeah, it's-
no.
they're trying to modernize Chucky instead of magic. It's more Techie.
You're techie.
Hi, Techie.
Techie tech.
I don't
Yes,
like
yes.
that.
Yes, yes.
Hmm?
I don't like.
I don't like that premise.
Have you ever seen these
It's
movies?
gross.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're funny.
I remember going into like,
Space.
you know, like how in Spencer's they had those weird, like, well, the old one they had like a shelf, and they had like the Bride of Chucky. They had Chucky, and then they had like the adjacent thing, and you walk by, and he would start like talking, and like it was like an actual Chucky doll that
Yeah.
talks.
That's gross.
Yeah.
And puke.
Mm.
No.
Take that asshole.
Sip in that.
Yeah.
All right, so what do we got next?
Chewy on the board.
No, you say you was skipping.
With the new Sith that were introduced to the.
Oh.
There's a new
Oh.
Sith?
Yeah.
What the Sith?
What the Sith?
Talk to us about Sith.
So,
Sith happens.
yeah,
Sith
there's two new
does
Siths.
happen.
One of them is
Especially
named
around Sith Miss.
Momin. The other one
Get
is
down with the
named
Sith.
Shaw. So Shaw is the first female Sith introduced to the new canon,
Huh?
and she's the master of Momin. Momin's the apprentice.
Oh, so she's the master.
Yeah. Well, she doesn't. She is, but in this story, she doesn't like to be called master. She doesn't want to be that. She doesn't want that title, but she does want to train Momin.
I wonder if that's. Isn't there like a in like literature, like the spawn of Satan or something is Memon? If you look at if you switch the
Is it
names
Memon?
around.
Are you thinking about the craft?
Well, I was thinking actually it's about Constantine, but I've heard of another thing.
Oh.
Like the epitome of like the evilness of man or something like that. And if you take the name, if you look how it's spelled, Momen, or how'd you pronounce it?
Momin.
Momen, yeah, Mon. It just seems like if you kind of reverse some of the lettering,
Uh-huh.
I don't know. I don't know why if that was
Well,
just
it's like
a
if you
play.
put an R in there, it's Mormon.
Or if you put a W.
Actually, no, because
Flip the
more
M
men.
upside
You
You know
need
how
an
down.
scholars
O.
like to grab
You
like,
need an
biblical
O.
stories.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
or
Scholars likes to get biblical.
They do.
so. Are you saying the Mormon are akin to the dark side?
I mean,
Oh, wow.
That's what Tim's going
According
with.
to
I don't
this
know.
story,
With Kathleen Kennedy at the helm, I don't know if there will be more men in more Star Wars movies moving forward.
Well, I was saying if you flip the M upside down.
I think Tim's
you
a
know
winner
what? I was
at that.
looking at this Ray,
Uh-huh.
and she kind of like has like a man feature.
Uh-huh.
She's a man.
Doesn't it look like those are like long sideburns?
You're a
Uh-huh.
cyborg.
No,
It's her little friend.
Her baby hairs. They're
Baby.
baby hairs, yeah.
Talk to us about baby hairs.
They actually look like this character looks like Ray looks like the character from
Bring it over here, Tim.
So is that your way of saying that you have sideburns too, Sarah?
the leader of
I'm sorry.
the henchman from Big Trouble in Little China.
Uh-huh.
The guy with the swords,
Yes.
the hat, like that.
I think it's just a bad rendering. God.
Oh my god.
Lopan's
Lopez.
Right hand man.
Yeah.
Ah!
No, it's her baby hairs and it's a crappy rendering.
yeah.
Decided.
Anyway, looks like
Tim, that was pretty
Intuitive.
right.
I was gonna say douchey, but
Oh, sorry. You're
I'm
right.
just saying. And that's what they
She's a
look like.
woman, Tim.
I know she's a woman. I'm
God
just saying the
damn
action
it.
figure has that feature.
Well,
I mean, has
there's
she
a
ever?
lot of shitty action figures though.
Ooh.
I'm not saying that your action figure is shitty though.
It's okay.
I only spent like $50 on it. It's fine.
There is
all right.
There's a lot of shitty ones out there. But moving on.
Anyway.
Disrespect is real today.
Mm-hmm.
Not saying that when
She
you say
stared
that.
at me.
I'm just agreeing with Sarah that there are shitty ones out there. All right, so
Sorry.
all right, so back to Momin and Shaw. The comic that it was released in. Star Wars Darth Vader number 22. So I'm just going to read some of it here, and then we can just talk about them after. Vader is shown in one of the pictures here where there's a helmet in front of him. It's levitating above. You see it levitating above a rock, and he says, "What are you?"
It is a brothel.
And he answers Vader saying, "I am Momin." And everything I did was guided by one simple principle. And then, then you get that.
How was that?
Fish. Yeah.
Fish. That's a word.
FWSH Wish. And then it sends him into like the whole story background of him.
Oh.
I guess to give him the picture where his vision came from. So Fortress Vader, Part 4. The Republic is overthrown. Emperor Palpatine rules the galaxy with an iron fist. Palpatine's apprentice, Vader, serves his master's empire by rooting out surviving Jedi. Vader has requested that his master grant him a planet to do with what he will, and he has chosen Mustafar, a world ripe with dark side energies and the site of his greatest defeat. Palpatine has charged Chief Imperial Architect Alva Brin to build Vader's fortress there and gifted his apprentice the Mask of Lord Momin, a mysterious dark side artifact. But Bren has failed to capture Vader's vision for the fortress, and Momin's mask has revealed its power by murdering Bren, possessing her assistant and offering up its own designs of Fortress Vader. All right, so getting into a couple of scenes with Momin. And Momin's shown wearing like a black jacket with like a triangle shaped, or what would you call that?
Deathly Hallows. Wait, yes, bro.
With blonde hair and pale skin. So
It looks like a biohazard.
You're a
yeah, I can see that.
Your face is a biohazard.
And you see him surrounded
Too far?
by a crowd of
Okay,
people
Too
or
far.
of different species.
Oh, okay.
And he says, pain and fear are the purest of all emotions because they are the first we feel at the moment of
Fear
birth.
and love.
They are a reversion to our most fundamental animal selves. Before we are anything, we can hurt it, we can be afraid. The work should bring its viewers to this place. A successful piece makes anyone who sees it an animal. Not everyone enjoys being made to feel this way. That is fine. They can lie to themselves about what they are. I will show them the truth. And then it goes to say, for my dedication to these principles, I was imprisoned, my tools taken from me. I did not mind if my audience was afraid of me. Then I had succeeded in a, what does that say? Oh, in a way, it's very small to read. The name Momin had come to mean something to anyone who heard it, difficult truths and uncompromising vision. I, Momin, was a sculptor of the mind. They locked me away so they would not have to see it. But truth cannot be imprisoned. My name echoed out into the galaxy, and one heard and understood and came for me. Her name was Shah. Something I cared to understand when I was very young. Something I came to understand when I was very young. And then it shows him mutilating something. He's like cutting up an animal. He's changing its look, its design. Like you imagine, I don't know if you heard the story of, what's that one guy's name? Mr. Crowley, where he cut up people's bodies and put them together to make a new creature, this ugly being.
Crowley from Supernatural?
No, like the old story, like Jack the Ripper type of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so there was a guy named Mr. Crowley who did that. Well, it's kind of like, well, Momin's a kid and he's like doing this to animals, and it says his mother comes in, I'm assuming, and says, have you seen Fluta, which is, I'm guessing, their pet? Have you seen Fluta anywhere, Moment? I swear, if she ran away again, I don't know what I let your father convince me to get a Ratacat in the first place. Nothing but, and then that's when she realized while she's looking for this Ratacat that he's already like killed it and messing with it. And she says, what have you done? And he said, if people feel nothing when encountering something you have created, then you have created nothing. So he wants some sense of emotion and fear and wants people to be scared. Then he goes back to Vader in this scene where he's holding the mask and says Mustafar, and he's taking him to see the planet and all the surroundings to build his castle. And that's, that's the stills that we had, were given to us by Nate for this comic about Moment. And, we got a quick look at Shaw.
So the bridge, how does, I guess we don't know how old, I don't want to say old, but like the time frame from when Moment was alive to Vader's time. You know what I mean? Was it 1,000 years? 100 years? 100,000 years?
That's true.
You know what I mean? It'd be interesting to get that information. You know what I mean?
I think Palpatine would know because he had that in his possession.
Yeah.
He gave it to Vader. I feel like Palpatine knew that shit was gonna happen. He's like, hey, I know you're building something. I know an architect, but he already had someone working for. Vader already had someone working for him, but then Palpatine's, well, let me give you this.
Yeah. You think it was more of a distraction or just to lead Vader more down to the dark side?
I think to lead him, more down to the dark side, to show him. It's kind of because he's giving him a vision of what he wants people to see. Like, this is what, people should fear you, and your design should have the same feeling. Your castle should have fear. When people see it, they fear you.
Now, is this something that they're going to be releasing just as literature, or is it going to be in a show?
It's a comic book.
So exclusive to comics?
Yeah.
Okay.
But of course, it is now canon.
Yeah, sure. In the database.
Look it up. It's there.
Mm-hmm.
Moment. Shaw.
Are you going to look it up? Really?
No.
You're not looking it up?
I can.
You can? What are you doing now?
Able
He's
to.
messing
I'm
with
sitting.
Yeah, I'm just messing with you.
Okay.
What are you doing now?
Sitting
Well-
here, breathing kind of.
Well, that's
thoroughly.
interesting. Maybe something to keep an eye out to.
Who said Disney wasn't dark?
Oh, I should.
It's
I should have for this.
that
Well,
is-
there was a Marvel one.
I think that's pretty dark.
No, I know, but someone said that, and I shared something about Marvel, where it showed someone like getting decapitated in a movie, and just a bunch of random shit.
so we haven't seen anything like that in a movie before.
What?
Anything close to that.
Yeah.
The only thing we have seen is similar to that is Rogue One, where there was a group of people where they had half of a face, like from the nose and then up, was all gone. Y'all don't remember seeing that? They're called the decraniators or something like that.
With the
The visor.
Okay, yeah.
And then there's like
yeah.
no.
That was the main.
Yeah, there's no.
That was like
top
the main guy for the crew for. Jesus, what's his name?
Krennic?
No, Forrest Whitaker.
Oh,
Sagar.
Sagar. Yeah, like his main dude. He was walking around. You could see like it was flesh,
yeah,
but then he had a mask, and so it looked so like I don't know, it looked weird.
yeah,
Like, is that who you're talking about?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And so, denogonizers, something like that.
Denogonizer.
Something like that. That's what they.
Noggin.
It did.
Yeah,
Nogginized.
getting it out of there. But that was a form of mutilation to make them subservient to their masters. They're almost like droids, but
If I take the mask off, I'll kill you.
Huh?
It will certainly be painful.
oh my goodness.
No, that's what it sounds like because you're making it seem as if like if they took it off and they had to wear the mask, like they needed that to survive, and that was essentially like slavery to these people.
Yeah, because I don't think they had a brain. I think because of course, like I said, pretty much from the nose bridge up was all gone. It was flat.
Yeah, it's
It's total. Whoop.
It's like he was wearing like glasses.
It's like a visor,
but not.
and then everything from
Let me-
that up was flat.
Well, then we're not talking the same guy. Then.
oh,
Because the
okay.
guy I'm talking about, like he had flesh, like it looked like he had like glass eyes, like kind of like demon eyes from Supernatural, with like it's all blacked out, like not just the pupils but everything.
Yeah.
But then from pretty much like the nose down, or whatever it was, that it looked like it was like a breathing.
Oh,
apparatus.
those are twins. The two tubes.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what.
Oh no, I'm just saying that's what I thought you were talking about. So I can't.
Yeah.
I don't remember specifically who you're speaking of.
No.
But no, yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of dark content. I think that's kind of gets into the question that we've been somewhat talking about, hoping that we may see a rated R thing, so we actually get to see in Star Wars
guess-
such a violent galaxy.
I guess
Yeah.
that side we're gonna see in comic books and stuff like that. Not really on the.
No, I know, but that's why I'm just also wondering or hoping in that
How would
case.
they even think like that with no brain?
They don't.
I think.
Comprehend everything
Well,
around them.
on Jeddah, you do see Dr. Evans and the walrus man that he's with. I forget his name. Panda Baba.
Panda.
And they're known for mutilations. Decraniated. There you go. They're known for mutilating people. That's why they're wanted all over the galaxy. And so they're always having to move around. And I wonder if maybe
They worship movement.
possibly, and maybe they're the ones that created, things like that. Even like who is it? Lando. He has a human, but his name is Lobot. He's bald.
Oh,
With,
yeah.
the
On Cloud City.
yeah. So, I mean, I think that's another form of lobotomization and turning a human into a cyborg / almost like a droid, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Remote control.
Yeah.
Dee-dee-doo.
Yeah, exactly.
Power Rangers.
That
So-
was a Star Wars book.
But that sounded like the Power Rangers theme.
You sound like Power Rangers. It's like
When they get
what?
summoned by a Zordon.
It didn't. The whistle. But so I guess the next topic.
What are we talking about next, Tim?
Scandalous things.
Scandals.
You're a scandal.
Oh my goodness.
The Star Wars author Chuck Wendig, the article from Verge. Do you still have that
Yeah.
his tweets open? Do you want to read some of them just before I read the article?
Well, do we want to?
Keep going.
So he was fired by Marvel for his vulgar tweets,
Yeah, let's give some preference to
so he can get
some
some.
preface to what we're
Yeah.
reading.
Okay.
Let's
So
hear it.
there's some stuff about the president.
He's very political. Like,
He's very political. I won't read that, but pretty much my favorite one is they can eat shit. All of them. They can eat a boot covered in shit.
oh,
Wait, who's
Winter-
they? He's talking about the people who
Marvel?
follow Chuck?
Well, I mean, before we get into that, we should get some preface while we're even talking
GOP?
about this guy's.
Oh, okay.
Because he's talking about like F Trump. He's just an
Well, what I'm
ugly
saying
fake
before we
flop.
read that, maybe we should.
I did. I
Why-
said he's fired by Marvel
But
for
for
his
what?
tweets, for his vulgar tweets. Is what I said, and then I said, "Let's hear the tweets."
Open your ear holes.
Come on,
Micah.
Micah.
You have
Well,
headphones.
That's okay.
God.
I don't know why
Just
we're
let me
looking at
breathe.
this.
right wing personalities.
So, yeah, F all the GOP, F that blubbering wrestling frat boy judge, F McConnell, Ryan, Grassley Collins, every last one of them, F them
Wow.
for how they've shamed victims and helped dismantle democracy. They'll tell you to smile, that we need to get back to business, that we got to heal the rift and blah, blah, blah. But that's the desire of a savvy bully who wants you to stop crying after he hit you, who wants you not to fight back, but you can cry and you can fight back. They can all eat shit, all of them. They can eat a poop covered in shit. Winter is coming, you callous fucknecks.
Wow.
You prolapsed assholes, you
Hey.
grotesque monsters, you racists and rapists and wretched abusers. There we go.
That's an accusation.
You vengeful, petty horrors. And then,
Wow.
side note, some will tell you to be civil because your rage and scorn will fuel the other side, but F that double standard in both its ears.
Was this before or after he got fired?
This is
That was before. That's why he got fired.
Yeah,
and
those,
then he
since
comes
then,
out
those
on
tweets have been
Twitter.
taken down.
Well, I mean, that's the only reason why I'm trying to get at the heart of it.
And then
We heard he got fired, but for what?
and
Yeah.
then
And then we're
um,
reading this, so we don't know
Yeah.
what the context
We're
is.
leaving, the freedom of speech is what we're hearing right now.
he got like locked out of Twitter for a little while because of
Yeah.
the vulgarities of the content that he posted. It says we have determined that you violated the Twitter rules, so we've temporarily limited some of your account features. While in this state, you can still browse Twitter, but you're limited to only sending DMs to your followers. No tweets, retweets, or likes. Your account will be restored to full functionality in however much time. And then he, summarizes what happened, the consequences of his posts.
All right, so Chuck Wendig, one of the authors that Marvel had, fired for those tweets. So just after Marvel, this is articles from The Verge, actually. So just a week after Marvel announced at New York Comic Con that Star Wars author Chuck Wendig would be penning a Darth Vader miniseries, Wendig says that he's been removed from the series as well as from an unannounced Star Wars book after he was temporarily suspended from Twitter. In a series of tweets, Wendig noted that he was fired from the remainder of the series because of the negativity and vulgarity that my tweets bring. It was too much politics, too much vulgarity, and too much negativity on my part. A Marvel spokesperson confirmed that Wendig had been fired, but wouldn't comment further on the record. So then after that happened, Chuck Wendig tweeted, so here's the thing that has happened. I just got fired from Marvel, taken off issues 4 and 5 of Shadow of Vader, and taken off an as yet unannounced Star Wars book. Wendig went on to outline a long-running campaign of harassment that accompanied 2015's Aftermath, the first novel in the new canon set between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens. Fans of the defunct expanded universe were upset that his books were replacing the long-running series, while others took issue with his outspoken progressive political views. Wendig has written for Marvel before, writing the comic adaptation of The Force Awakens, and he wrote issues of Marvel series Hyperion. Earlier, this was done weeks ago. Wendig reported that he discovered on that Monday that his Twitter account had been temporarily suspended, which lasted for 5 hours. He suspects it was due to a tweet storm about civility in the aftermath of the confirmation of Brett Kavanaugh that went viral. It earned him the ire of numerous right-wing personalities, along with threats and calls for him to be fired from his Star Wars gigs, misconstruing his tweets as a literal call for violence. So then Chuck Wendig tweeted, to conclude, this is really quite chilling, and it breaks my heart. I'm very sad and worried for the country I live in and the world, and for creative people all around. Courage to you all. I have a dire fear this is going to get a whole lot worse before it gets better. Wendig's firing sets a disturbing precedent for creators, and it specifically recalls the firing of James Gunn from his director's position on Guardians of the Galaxy 3 after a right-wing troll campaign churned up some offensive tweets that he posted a decade ago. While Wendig notes that this appears to have been Marvel's call, there are stark similarities and a concerning takeaway. Entertainment companies will cave to bad faith campaigns if the volume is cranked up high enough, while a source close to the matter noted that online campaigning for Wendig's ouster from the franchise didn't figure into the decision. It's impossible to see those circles claim it as anything but a victory.
So he was against the Kavanaugh
Yeah, pretty much.
thing, and he went nuts.
Yeah, so he was tired of the country. Or he isn't feared for the people of this country. So that's why he is outraged.
But I remember reading on that too, is that he doesn't. It's not just a nuanced thing for him. That he's had some more colorful tweets, and some of which have been politically inspired. But of course, that what Sarah read, I would assume, is pretty out there.
Mhm.
You know, especially in the wake of everything that's going on. But it's not something new, and so perhaps maybe it's Marvel just kind of saying,
Enough is enough.
yeah, like, you know, that was the straw that broke the camel's back. You know, perhaps that, like, God knows what's going to happen in the future. If that's what you think about this, then who's to say if this happens, this person gets reelected, blah, blah, blah. They probably just decided to axe him.
Yeah.
As a, you know, that being a catalyst for that, perhaps. But I mean, it kind of encroaches on the idea again. Are we in this outrage culture like that? We've seen a lot of effect that's happened to Star Wars actors, and even decisions made about the longevity of their company and stuff.
Well, yeah, because I mean, I don't want to. How can I put it? This is not along the same lines, but it kind of touches it a little bit. Like when they had the kneeling of the NFL players, and they still showed them on ABC, ESPN, which are owned by Disney, which in turn Disney owns Marvel. So it's almost all interconnected. It's like, at what point are you willing to say, you know, is ABC willing enough to say, you know what, NFL, you're doing this, you're allowing your players to do this, we're no longer going to be affiliated with you.
But I mean, that's really different though, because he got kind of personal. Like, he got down and dirty. I mean, I don't know the full extent of the kneeling thing, but I mean, they didn't, from what I know, or I never heard of them like screaming vulgarities about whatever. They whenever they were questioned about why they were kneeling, they were just like, "This is why." They didn't go into profanity or anything like that, right?
I don't think they did, but a lot of the military saw it as them disrespecting fallen heroes.
Yeah.
So would you consider vulgarities along the same lines of that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Words versus,
Action.
you know, your family member died for us being free from this country, and you're disrespecting them, compared to pretty much you suck.
No.
Which is worse? You know what I mean? So.
Well, I mean, yeah, and I mean, not trying to get too political, but you also had, I mean, because you also had a lot of service members saying, like, I don't agree with what you're doing, but it's your First Amendment right.
Yeah.
You know, you're allowed to do this thing. You're allowed to vocalize your opinion. And I know there's a contractual thing with the NFL.
Yeah.
But, you know, we can take this, what is seemingly a somewhat innocent thing when kneeling, who's affected by this, and then go to this, which is apparently like, okay, you said some pretty raunchy stuff.
I agree.
Like, you got to be held accountable for that. Because whether, you know, you're easily offended, you're not easily offended, like, this is something that anyone could get offended by, especially with the atmosphere. Or not the atmosphere, because Twitter in itself is a shitstorm, but just how public it can be, and especially who you're representing.
Yeah.
You know, because we're not talking about one player.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you could be talking about one player, but you're talking about a mass. You know, a lot of times, you know, a grouping of people. You know, multiple teams. We're talking about one guy. So in that case, it's probably even easier for them just to hatch off that one person, that one little itty bitty prickly thing that was been an issue with it. So.
So he should have been fired. That's what we're saying. Yeah. It's okay to have your thoughts, right? If that's what he truly believes.
I think he pushed
But
too
when you're
hard.
like a public
he just went. he just kept going too far. He didn't have to go that far.
He
Yeah.
didn't. He could have said, "I'm disappointed in
Yeah.
this," and explained why versus eat shit and die in a fire,
Yeah, it's
pretty
like-
much.
Yeah.
You know?
So that's when they saw that he seemed like he's campaigning for violence.
Yeah.
Well, we gotta stop that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that she should have come. And he said it himself. Like he admitted that he went too far in politics, too far in vulgarity, and too far in talking about violence. I think he still would have had his job if he didn't say some of those words.
Yeah, I think because even some of them have like a public account, and they have a private one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, they have close friends that they can just say like he could have said that there, and then you can have a public one because you know you're gonna get a lot of followers.
Yeah.
And you,
I'm curious
It's just
how
not
many
something.
people liked that statement
I can look.
while
I
it was
think-
up.
I can.
see if you can even look at the statistics. Alex.
You know
I know
what I
a lot
mean?
of times you can see like how many people looked at it.
That's
Yeah.
if the tweet is up. But
Yeah.
That
Oh,
was
you said
It
it
was
was
a
just-
screenshot.
screenshot.
Oh, okay.
But you can
I
see
You know
don't
what I
if it was
mean?
like a
I'm just
screenshot of
curious.
his.
No, I know, but I just
Because that was a very heated thing.
yeah.
And it was a lot. It was long winded too. So I'm not on Twitter. I don't know what this means. But there's 38 comments on the first one where he talks about Trump and everything.
Uh-huh.
At the time, it was 4 hours old. There's 38 comments. The arrows is retweets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So 430 retweets. And
per tweet, right? There was like 400 for each.
yeah, I mean, kind of. The first two, yeah, there was about 400, and then it started to like trickle down. But there was over 1,000 likes for each one.
Huh.
And they were 4 hours old. They were all like, he did it. He was just like ranting and then send, ranting
Yeah.
and then post, you know. So they were all,
Very impassioned.
yeah, and widely seen and retweeted.
Yeah.
So it's his name. Like every time they retweet, it's his name, right? It's like
Yeah, I think it's
like
attached.
sharing a post.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'll show you like a little
So-
highlight, and then you can make a caption to it, like you
The
can say
comment.
okay. So I mean, there was 400 retweets
Uh-huh.
on a lot of them. So more people saw them than what's on there.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's unfortunate for him. You know what I mean?
Can he continue writing? He gets to continue doing his work, but just not Star Wars stories. Just-
He probably get snatched up by DC.
yeah,
Could be.
I mean, James Gunn was already.
Yeah,
in
that's what
talks
happened with James Gunn.
to get snatched up by DC.
Yeah.
I guess it's very difficult nowadays to know where the line is
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
So, like,
let's just say you tell somebody that they're very tall and they take offense to that and they take you to court. Could they win? Because you are discriminating against them?
they can.
That's, you know what I mean? Where does the line get drawn?
Yeah.
And I think that's where the world that we live in now is that all of us have to be careful on what we say and the way we act and what we tweet and post and all that stuff, because you never know when and where that will resurface. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So that's really good. Thanks for bringing that up, Tim.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah, Tim. Thanks, man.
you go.
You go,
Got it,
Glen
man.
Coco.
You're supposed to say
Now,
you go, girl.
Now, Wendig will have to live with the fact that, yeah, he might have to go find a job somewhere else if he's even lucky enough to do that in the field that he wanted to be in.
hmm
You know what I mean? He may not.
Probably in a dream job, and he let his own emotions screw it up for himself.
Could be. I mean, it could be a blessing for better Star Wars stories if their next writer up is very talented.
Well, sure. I mean, I guess we can hope for that, but
Yeah.
we don't. I don't think we'd advocate for.
Trying to see the positive things out of this.
Yeah.
No, yeah, absolutely. Well, I'll put it to you like this: I'm not going to hope that whoever created Resistance says some really stupid shit. So I'm like, get that asshole out. Who's up? Give me something better. You know what I mean? Like,
Resistance isn't really that bad.
well, I'm just making it
Oh, okay.
fine.
Okay.
Forces of Destiny. Is that
Oh.
better?
Okay.
Just like, okay. Yeah, I think
Some of that was a little bit.
So what do we got next?
KOTOR. KOTOR.
Core. Knights of the Old Republic.
That old
It's KOTOR, Tim. It's
game.
acronym KOTOR.
That game is no longer canon.
You shut your mouth.
Yes.
It's not part of the Star Wars universe. Or do you have something new on that, Tim?
I don't have anything new.
But
Okay.
I just wanted to let the world know what the old story is, and then, what the possibilities of, the moves that they make for the new story. So the old story with the Old Republic, just in general, the story takes place 4,000 years before the rise of the Galactic Empire, where Darth Malak, a former Jedi, and the Dark Lord of the Sith, and Darth Revan's former apprentice, has unleashed a Sith armada against the Republic. Malak's aggressions left the Jedi scattered and vulnerable, and many Jedi Knights have fallen in battle, and others have sworn allegiance to Malak. And these characters, Revan, I know, on this old story here, is a fan favorite. A lot of fans, I would say, want that character to be canon.
Mhm.
So Lucasfilms has been talking about redoing Knights of the Old Republic. They still want to do that story. They just want to change some things about it. I feel if they keep Darth Revan, that they can please the fans. If they take out Darth Revan, it wouldn't be a good thing for the fans.
I think the only reason fans like Darth Revan is because he has a red saber and a purple saber. That's about it.
That's enough, bitch.
That's it, right?
I don't think it's. I don't
Do you
think,
know anything? Let me ask you.
I don't think it's.
Are you a Darth Revan fan?
I would love to see Revan on screen. Yes.
Tell me about Darth Revan.
But what I'm saying is, well, he has a history of that. He was it Sith, and then he was Jedi, then went back Sith.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of story that we can't encompass with a couple lines here.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is that I don't think a lot of people. I think a lot of people who play the video game probably enjoy his character, and sure, the optics of the character image of him looks pretty cool. But the more they hear about it, I would assume that the more they would want to get into it, and that's perhaps why Lucasfilm is choosing to. I mean, it's everything that they've done. Everything is everything is non-canon. Everything is Legends until we can bring it back and retrofit it to the timeline in which we've established. And at that point in time, I think he will be a fan favorite for sure. But I think right now, if anything, the fandom behind him is really linked into the game, Knights of the Old Republic, because you're playing as him.
Do y'all, ladies, know the character Darth Revan?
Nope.
Do you care about him?
I don't think they could say because they don't know about
Because
it.
they don't know, right?
Yeah.
How about you, Tim?
I mean, they could probably say they care about new characters. But
I mean, it'd be cool.
I mean, if they're
It'd
good
be new.
characters. If they're just like the porgs, worthless
Oh,
beings.
No, we love the port.
Set
I
them
Like
on
if they're
fire.
just worthless,
I mean,
Turkey.
sit all night, damn it.
I'm in it for. I'm okay with
The
Darth
booze
Revan
and the bitches.
for no.
Wow.
I mean, if you want to keep the Star Wars universe afloat or to still be successful,
We all float down here, Timmy.
I feel like we have to have a Darth Revan if they're pulling from the Old Republic. It has to be Darth Revan. So that's why I agree with him being there in the story. Not because he's cool or anything. It's just because like the overwhelming amount of people that want him in there.
Could you imagine them making a
Let's put on our thinking caps.
Knights of the Old Republic movie or whatever, remake of the game, and then fans say they did it wrong.
I can't imagine that. They've seen that before.
And then them saying you ruined Knights of the Old Republic.
Hey, you ruined Darth Revan.
But, you know, that can
ruined
happen.
Darth Revan.
Yeah.
That can happen for many respects, you know, for many different things.
I think they should just leave it alone. Scrap it. Just move on.
I mean, how many people looking at canon things think that they messed up on Boba Fett from the book
They did.
versus him being a clone in episode 2?
They did.
With Star
Well,
Wars,
that's what I'm saying.
It always takes. I've noticed it always takes time for Star Wars to get like. It starts where it'll start off where people disagree,
Mhm.
and then years and years go by,
10 years.
and then it's like, yeah, more than 10 years. You're calling the time that it took me some time. Yeah, and then they start to embrace the world that they were given or the stories that they were given, and they in turn like love it later on.
Well, I just want to have something to do
I
with
just
like,
feel like whatever they give us is gonna happen like that. They're gonna hate it at first, and then years from then.
yeah, I
it's
mean,
gonna
but I
be
think that
amazing.
has to do with
and that's gonna be like this cult classic.
yeah, like part of the kind of culture behind it, because it's like people, you know, people complaining, and then you have Bob Iger from Disney coming out saying we're gonna slow down the production of films coming out, basically. And so later on, they're gonna be like, you know, the movies they were talking shit about would be like, oh, it's not that bad. Oh, I like it. Like they're gonna have more so an affinity towards it because they realize that like maybe I screwed up, maybe I shouldn't have said anything. I was so upset with this thing, and now I'm looking back and realizing there is a lot of things I like in it. Because, and again, I'm supposed to be a fan, right? Short for fanatic of Star Wars. And I mean, even now, like you have people trashing the prequels. I mean, still today. I mean, you still have people trashing on prequels today, but it seems like the more you like choose to watch it, think about it, discuss it, whatever, you can at least start to take things from it that you sided with, that you enjoyed from it. Yeah, we can still say Jar Jar's a piece of shit. I've said it from the beginning, but also I haven't changed too many things as far as like my idea of saying I really hated something to versus really liking something. But I know as of late, say the last couple of years or so, I've been more conscientious of the idea that maybe Jar Jar was more than what we were able to see. And I think once people, you know, kind of get into that idea, it's like, okay, maybe we should just shut up, let them do the movies. I may not like it now, but maybe I'll like it later. And again, we're talking about a movie that's connected to a storyline, but there's going to be another movie, hopefully in the next 2 years, either with that storyline or not in that storyline, but another movie. So if they don't like that one, just hold on. There's probably something coming for you next.
I wonder how everybody here thinks about what I'm about to say, because we're all of different age ranges. Me going to be 45 here in a couple months. And then I think, Izzy, you're the youngest.
I'm about to turn 22.
You're going to be 22. So there's an
I'm
age
feeling
range of
22.
nearly 23 years. And when I was younger and go to the movies, you only really talk to your friends at school about it,
Mhm.
right? And so it's like now you can message or post something, and like thousands of people from all over the world will see it and be like, oh, well, I'm not the only one that thinks that way. Wow. You know what I mean? So is that changing the way they make the movies? You know what I mean?
I would say yeah.
And should it?
But yeah,
That's what I was gonna
was
say.
going to wait for there's a lurking butt here somewhere.
Yeah. Should they even consider, like, and I think I don't know if you brought it up or somebody else brought it up, like where a lot of fans, quote unquote fans, were like happy that they are the ones that made Han Solo a bust film because it was protested against.
I didn't say that.
No, it
I
was
hadn't heard
somebody
about
I
that.
talked to. I forgot who it was.
But anyone who says that that's a bust film, I think either they didn't watch
I
it.
think financially they mean.
Financially, it's a
Financially. Yeah.
Like the factual numbers that it was cost to make
No,
the
I-
movie,
I
and then what
understand
it
what you're
came
saying.
up with at the end, like that number shows it's a bust.
Yeah. And so I'm wondering, should filmmakers even
But
consider?
the people who saw it, like they liked it.
Yeah. I don't know if I've seen a post anywhere of somebody's like, oh yeah, it was a shit movie. Everybody's like, hey, it was pretty good. You know what I mean? But considering the financial aspect, it would be considered a bust, even though it only made. I mean, after everything was said and done, it made like what, $50 million?
No, I get what you're
Something
saying,
like that.
and I think that I think it has more so to do with you're saying, everyone you talk to enjoyed the movie, but so why didn't it make as much? Well, it also had the budget problem, have to rewrite shit, bring
Yeah,
in
that's
Ron
what I'm
Howard.
saying. Yeah.
But second to that too is it also probably means that the viewership was low, and that we also discussed and sometimes that looking at the movies that are coming around the aspect like Deadpool 2 came out right around the same time.
Well, I don't think the viewership was lower. I just think,
I think
just
it
from
was.
the number wise, let's say that they didn't have. Let's say they would have gotten Ron Howard to do it from the beginning, right? This movie would have made somewhere around the realm of, on the plus side, $500 million. If they didn't have to do all the reshoots, if they wouldn't have had to recast, if they wouldn't have had to get a new director and all that. So it would have made $500 million. Those are the actual numbers. But when I say after everything's said and done, they did have to get a new director. They did have to do reshoots. They did have to do recasting. After all that said and done, it only made $50 million. So the viewership, I think, was there. I'm just saying, should they listen to all these people that are? Should they listen to?
You have to take a little bit of consideration into effect.
I don't know. What do they think? I'm curious because they. What do y'all think?
Well, I don't know. I feel
Numbers.
like they're hired to do a job, right? And if they let so many people influence that, it's gonna turn into a piece of shit. Just because everybody's opinion is different, right? Opinions are like assholes; they all stink. But no, I don't know. I don't think they should let too many not unofficial movie critics judge how they choose to make their art, because they are hired for a reason to do that. Anyway,
What do you think, Izzy? Should they listen to the Twitter universe
Twitter is its own like
and
hell.
the Instagram
Mhm.
verse,
Because,
and
I mean,
the
Nobody can
Facebook?
even agree on one
No.
thing.
Yeah.
No,
So
and people hate because other people are hating. I'm like, I don't.
Haters of the haters.
Yeah,
Twitter cannot be any actionable measure of
Yeah.
people's ideas or
so like
decisions.
if someone over here is like throwing some mad hate and they're like they're getting a lot of attention for hating, I'm gonna hate too.
Mhm.
I don't think they should listen to that because I don't think it's logical. I think it's stupid. I don't know,
Huh.
but that's
What do you think, Tim?
I think times are changing. It's not like the movie industry. I don't want to say it's behind, but because they still come out and they make small budget movies and try to make as much profit as they can off of it. But anyway, what I was thinking is like go into like the gaming industry, like these developers. I've noticed over the past 20 something years or so, like when games came out back then, the developers were like, "This is our game. We're putting it out.
We like it.
They gave you a demo, they gave you some screenshots, and then you chose whether you wanted to play it or not. The demos, you can see it like as a preview back then because you didn't have social media like YouTube to watch all these trailers. So that you had that stuff, and but now the gaming world has changed to where if these games don't turn out good, where the reviews are coming out by the fans because the power of the internet, you get thousands and thousands of people who play these games going in there flooding these forums or these sites saying, "Oh, this is a shitty game," or "This was, I thought this was great. This is the good parts. These are the bad parts." So then they go. These developers now are listening to their people, and I'm seeing sequels come out where they have taken the information from their fans and they have worked it into the game. But there's still some things that developers will not change because part of it is their creation. But I'm thinking if that's happening in the gaming world and it's working out for them, these games are coming out better the second time because they're following, not that they're following, they're listening to their fans. I think that change might happen in the movie industry where they'll listen to their fans, and the sequels or reboots or whatever it is that comes out are going to be catered towards making people happy.
I wanted to ask you something, Micah, directly then. Because you have brought up they're making stuff for the majority, not the minority. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of times the majority of the people like what they're putting out. And then you have people that are the minority complaining, well, I don't like this, and I don't like this, and I don't like this, and you need to change it by the next time the next game or the next movie comes out, or I'm not watching it. So who do you think they should listen to?
This is the same argument I made last time we talked about this.
Yeah.
It's one thing to take an input. It's a second thing to actually act on that input.
Yeah.
If you have a majority of people saying, I like this, but we could have done it this way, that's one thing. If you have a small amount of people talking shit about something that makes no fucking sense at all, then it's like, all right, you're there to talk shit, being on Twitter. You're there just to talk shit. People are feeding off of that negativity, and they're just spewing it even more. So again, taking something into effect, and maybe from a creator standpoint, saying, this is what I want. This is what some critique of it is. Does it make sense to make that change? And if not, then fuck off. We're going to make what we planned on.
Yeah.
And that's the same argument that I've addressed, because again, Bob Iger coming out saying we're going to be doing less Star Wars film, he's listening to a very small amount of people.
Yeah.
Versus the large majority of this. And that's why I think there's a disconnect.
Yeah. That
you shouldn't be listening to 5%, 10% of the people.
Yeah.
So it should be like constructive feedback versus complaining.
Yeah, like if someone is saying something that is contradictory to what you're saying, if it holds substance and if it's not like just there to talk shit, that's one thing, you can take it in. But if it's something that's fundamentally against what they created, then they can also say, forget it. This is my story. And then that's where it goes in the whole, capitalism kind of thing. I'm going to ignore what they have to say because I want this character to be this specific way. I want this story, this outline to be a specific way. And then I make a secondary movie to it. I make a sequel. And then you lose a lot of, people, buying the movies, watching it, return watching it in the theaters and everything. That will show like, okay, that was that critical decision that I chose to ignore. And now it affected the revenue of the second movie and potentially the continuation of the story in itself.
So I think from our little conversation here, I've just created something entirely new in my mind where we have custom movies for each individual person. What do you think?
Yeah.
That's
going to happen.
That's going to be the trend.
That sounds retarded.
Why?
It's going to happen.
That's what people. If you listen,
no,
if
you're
you
right.
Listen,
No, you're
if you
right. I'm
listen-
saying that's retarded because that's my opinion.
Yeah,
But you're talking about people living in like an echo chamber,
yeah, and I
and
think
that's retarded.
that's what
we,
entertainment world is moving towards.
yeah.
Is I want it custom for me because that's what I want.
Okay, how about this?
It's
Spoiler.
not a movie though. That's a daydream.
Thank you.
You know?
Is it?
Yeah.
But
It's a dream.
let me ask you
You're
this.
feeding drone stuff.
Let me tell you this, that from what I see, and I don't know, because I've been playing video games probably twice as long as Tim. I haven't really played any recently, But from when I first started playing video games, I mean, I started with freaking the Atari.
Pong.
Yeah, literally, right?
Frogger.
Yeah, I mean, not even 6 pixels. You know what I mean? To where the entertainment world is now with video games, movies, and technology, I can see that's what people want.
Yeah.
They're moving from something that, man, have you played this? Have you played that? To something like, well, I want to play this because it's for me, not because everybody else is playing it. You know what I mean? And I think that's what people are going to want. They're going to want custom entertainment, which is custom movies, custom video games. Literally, it would be, yes, your own little dream world to escape reality. I think that is the future.
Then you have to be talking like an open source thing, not individualized things, because that's not feasible. Like an example, like I've brought it up before, like the Oasis in the movie Ready Player One. Like you have this entire world, and you can do whatever the hell you want to in it. Customizable. You can choose to do whatever missions you want, follow whatever storyline, dress the way you want, look a certain way. You can customize that. Then there's a difference between turning around and saying, I'm making this game itself individualized for you. Doesn't matter how much, because Tim, how long does it take for developers to create a game with that level of specificity, especially the amount that we're getting to, setting up with Spider-Man?
Yeah.
How long does it take to do that? So, and if you make
5 years.
Right. So if you make a second game, 10 years, how many people are out there? How many customizable options? Are you really going to turn around and say, I'd really buy that game, but he's not wearing a black shirt, and my dude wears a black shirt, so I'm not going to buy that. Does that make sense though? And because now you're not talking about just little cosmetics to it. You're talking about customizable storylines, I'm assuming. And I'm just saying that doesn't seem feasible unless you have an open source kind of thing like the Oasis.
The game I played, and I mentioned it before in the podcast,
Detroit, yeah.
I thought it was an amazing game. It's because of the choices that I made. I mean,
and it was custom to you pretty much.
Yeah, exactly. And there was some things I didn't like because I didn't want some person to die because of the decision I made. They fucking died.
But how many choices were you given? Like you can develop a game with more choices than 1 or 2, perhaps.
Yeah.
But what if the 5 options they give you is still not what I want?
No, there's more than 5. It's like
do you understand what I'm saying?
Hundreds.
They give you 100 options.
Yeah.
That's still not what I want. Are you going to turn around and say, no, I'm not going to buy
There's
this
going to be somebody that
game?
just wants to I get what you're saying.
Thank you.
The options.
It's a
I
spectrum.
can't explain it, but I get what you're saying.
It's a spectrum, infinite possibilities.
Yeah, but it's what I'm saying is like in its baby stages right now.
Yeah,
That's just
and I think
that's just
what
like the
I'm saying.
beginning. Detroit becomes.
Well, then what you're talking about will not be in our lifetime at this stage.
No, it's not.
That's what he's saying. Like in the future, that's what I'm saying. Like 20 to 40 years in between that. Yeah, right there. I think that's going to be the sweet spot for what he's talking about.
Yeah, and all they have to do is what you're talking about is literally it would be a questionnaire, but really they can just take brain patterns. You know what I mean? At that point, to customize things for you. You know what I mean? And wouldn't you want to see a perfect movie or play the perfect video game?
Yeah, but then it's not.
No,
you wouldn't.
it's not realistic.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be. Right? Am I right?
We've
But
gone down
again,
a
it's not
funky rabbit
supposed to
hole.
be.
Then we would be talking about something entirely different. We'd be talking about a world in which you wouldn't be living.
What it is you're creating a new genre of like movies that you can do that, and it's your choice to go see it or not. But then you'll have a crowd, you'll have that following of people that want to go see those type of movies because it'll be their movie.
But again, you're going to be talking about. Okay, I'm going to make this. I'm going to try to do the best I can with an example with this.
Before you do,
Spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen Infinity War. I really enjoy. I mean, not talking about what the story was, from the comic books, any rendition that they had, the 7 different whatever, timelines. The movie itself, I really enjoyed Infinity Wars. Why?
Yeah.
Because I didn't like the ending. I didn't like my favorite people were dying. It's not so much as what you want. It's because sometimes you don't know what you want until it happens. Sometimes having that most joy, experiencing it more so, It doesn't have to do with what you want, but what happens to you and your reaction to that.
Well, that general fact still stays in there. Like I said, in Detroit, like they died, and I didn't want that to happen.
But you're talking about,
I still made my choices.
but as a customizable feature, you're
And
still
it's
going to be
customizable.
okay. So then I would obviously choose. I want to make the decision. Well, I need to do this, but this
I mean,
person
it can
doesn't
live-
get hurt.
it can live
Does that
in
make
the end.
sense? It doesn't. It's not feasible.
It can
It's not
still
based in reality.
And then you can go share that experience with someone else who shared it and say, hey, well, why did you choose this? And then you can have a conversation like, I chose this and I thought it came out
That's
better.
life, though. That's life.
Yeah, that's life. And
So you're going
better way
to
do-
the movies to
Yeah.
escape life, though.
Yeah, to go into another life that's enjoyable.
I think Tim and I'm not saying
Sarah hit it right on the head.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
tell
she did.
I'm
I'm saying the positive part of it.
I'm telling you
I
whether
get it. I know what you're saying. I get
No,
it.
I know, and I'm
She's
not.
living.
I'm
And
not
we-
to go
you
fight
just don't
it.
like it.
No,
I
don't
think
like it.
I
I don't
think
like
Wait,
it
you don't
either.
like it?
I think
The
Tim and
whole-
I
Wait, you don't like that?
understand.
You don't like life?
What?
Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying like
The whole
the
point.
whole like
The whole-
other
the
life
whole
thing,
point of going
you
to
know?
movies is to escape life by trying to like see.
Transcendentalism
Yeah.
is absolving yourself into. No. It's just.
Oh, go
I'm just.
back.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
giving you a
yeah.
word behind it.
Wait, what was this? We cut Lewis off. What was he gonna say? Look, we're going crazy. Never mind.
YouTube does not like.
and I don't want to speak out of turn or speak for Tim, but I understand
We wouldn't want that either.
what
Honestly, I think 30 years
You're
from now,
cutting off, dude. What the hell, man?
because
wow, like Tim was like, I don't want to say that right, but like we were headed in that. It's coming, and there's nothing we can do to stop it.
yeah. And Izzy hasn't said too much about it, so I'm just gonna say, Micah and Sarah, I think Tim and I understand and appreciate what you're saying, what you're talking about separating yourself from life and fantasy and customization and all that. I'm not saying that you're wrong. I'm not saying that we're right. All I'm saying is that entertainment, the way people are looking at it
Evolves.
and wanting it, that's the way that it's going.
Yeah.
That's
People
all
are
I'm
wrong.
They may be wrong.
Yeah.
They may be wrong, but I'm just saying from what I've seen growing up
Yeah.
in the entertainment, whether it's video games, movies, internet, etc., that's the way
We're ahead.
that I'm seeing it going.
Yeah.
Whether it's right or wrong, that's the way that I'm seeing it going.
Yeah.
And it may be wrong. It may be the wrong thing to do.
I think I'm also looking at it from a societal standpoint. Once we get to a point in society where we have those abilities that you're talking about, like a completely customizable movie, game, whatever, I don't want to be a part of that
Yeah.
Why not?
because that's
That's
You know,
disgusting.
you know who you sound like.
it's unrealistic.
Yeah, then
It's unrealistic, and also too, what
I'm
does
just
it
saying,
what does it do to the people?
good for you, man. Like
There,
it's all good.
there is a time
Huh.
and a place where the people that were farming said, when there is no more farms or there are minimal farms and I'm not working on a farm, I don't want to live in that world. And then the industrial age happened and they had to change.
Yeah.
That's not entirely the same thing.
Yes, it is.
No.
It's a
It's
total
a-
That's
it's
why
life.
a-
I'm getting.
Hey.
I mean, I understand that.
Evolution
I
of the new
understand the comparison
technology.
you're making. I get that, but I think that's one of those things. Is that we're going on a forward progress, and people took a different timeline. Like people shouldn't have gone down that road. Maybe we should go back. Like you can live in that world and still prosper and still have a happy life, and just not prescribe to what society is giving
Like,
you out.
When
Or giving out, but
But what if that
Before
is
movies-
not there anymore?
before movies, it was like live action plays, or the stories were brought to you right in a theater, and you would see it happen, and these actors would play it out and talk to you right in front of you, and they're crying, like real crying right in front of you. And people loved it, man. Standing ovations, throwing roses and stuff, and some people even hated it.
Shakespeare.
how is this?
But
how
I'm
is
saying
this
like
relevant?
that evolved. It evolved. Entertainment evolved, and those people were like, "I'm not gonna go watch that silent film, black and white thing on a movie. I'm gonna stick to this theater. I'm gonna stick to what I like. This is my life. I want to see that story real right in front of me. I don't want to see that fake picture up there.
Well,
That all that stuff.
We're still not talking.
I'm
about
just
the same
saying-
thing.
What?
We're still not talking about the same thing. Though.
What are you talking about?
How so?
You're making a comparison about the evolution of things, and I'm not saying anything at
That's
all
what he just-
against evolution.
What?
What I'm saying is that you're talking about a society in which you don't have a choice. Your only choice
No,
is what you want,
do
which
have a
means you
choice.
don't have a choice.
You can still go out and watch plays in theater. You can go watch those, but now that those options, there's more
Minimal.
options to make all these movies and shows because you have it there.
That's not what he
On
said.
screen.
He said, "What if you don't have a choice?" Isn't that what you said, Lewis?
I did, and the reason that I said that
And
because
then
how many plays have you gone to in the last year?
What's a play?
How many movies
How-
have you
how-
gone to in the last
As-
year?
Still not that many.
entertainment.
Well, let's just say, how many movies have you gone to in the last year?
4.
4 movies. How many plays have you
5?
gone to?
How easily successful is it to that?
There are at least 7 theaters that you can
You're
go watch a
talking about
play.
mediums, is what we're talking about here. There's a lot more movies that come out than I watch, even if I want to watch it. You're not talking about the same thing.
No?
No.
Interesting.
Yeah,
This is giving me anxiety.
it is very interesting, right?
Right?
I think I don't know.
Hey,
think-
real quickly, I think
I'm not
this,
trying
this
to.
will help
I'm
me.
not trying to make you like it.
No,
or
I
anything. I'm
understand.
just saying, like, it's evolving and it's gonna happen. And you're saying, no, it's good. I hate it because I don't like it. It's not gonna happen.
What would you do?
I said no. I never said it wasn't going to happen. I said it wasn't feasible.
Okay.
Second to that, real quickly, do you remember the movie The Matrix, where the guy said that they made a perfect Matrix, but people didn't, but it failed because people didn't accept it?
Uh-huh.
That's what we're talking about right here.
But I think people
I think
would
if you
accept it.
if you have a society where you can have whatever you want, however you want it, it
It's gonna
doesn't
get
work.
old fast.
It doesn't work, and the system would
Movies
fail.
never got old. TV shows never got old.
Well,
You
no,
just
but
ended up not
exactly what
liking
you
some and
wanted. It
liking
was
some,
never
right?
exactly
Because
what you
you wanted to
wanted.
hear a story from
But
someone.
it was,
If you
Because
liked
they're
a certain,
different stories.
if you liked a certain writer's stories, you went and go watch more of his movies.
yeah, but that doesn't mean you liked every single aspect of it,
Right.
though.
Exactly.
Okay. Oh my God. Okay. We've gone down the rabbit hole. Oh.
I think
The thing is that we've gone down different rabbit holes.
Our own
I'm
custom
still
rabbit
looking down.
holes.
It's just like
I think
See
Tim
you,
and I's,
assholes.
I think Tim and I's rabbit hole is parallel to y'all's. The only thing that the parallel
that they don't operate.
ends very abruptly with y'all's, and ours continues.
Yeah. I don't know.
I think that's the problem, is that once this does happen, yeah, you'll still have a choice to go to a movie theater if they are not all shut down. Maybe there'll only be one movie theater playing one movie,
Yeah.
and that's it, and that's what you're gonna have to watch. You know what I mean?
But
Just like when you go
There's-
Or
to
it's gonna be like people with like TV Land,
But
you know,
you're
like
not
older
talking
people
about
have
the
like
Yeah.
TV Land where it just plays the stuff that they liked. From,
exactly from that
It's
era.
gonna be like that.
Yeah,
you have a different conversation though, Lewis. You were talking about content. Now you're talking about the media.
I think
You understand that?
they're interconnected. They'd be interconnected.
They're different experiences, sure, but they aren't the same. If I watch Infinity War on my phone versus a TV versus a larger TV versus a larger TV with LED, a 4K, whatever, then watching it on the silver screen, those are different mediums.
Mhm.
They can enhance the experience. They can make the experience work
Mhm.
worse, but you're still getting the content. You're still watching that, and those are separated.
And I think that content will be less and less and less.
I just don't really care.
The moving forward into the future.
So we're talking
Well,
about-
I'll put it like this. I guess
I think-
I have more faith and hope in society than y'all. That's what it sounds like.
Why would you? It hasn't shown you any different.
Like I said, I'm a closet romantic then.
Are you saying you like rom-coms? I don't.
I don't know.
our
mean,
lives are gonna
I
turn
could
into
be wrong.
simulations.
Huh?
Our lives are gonna turn into simulations.
There already are.
Not yours.
situations.
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
No, y'all just slid on that. Izzy's in the conversation now. She said our lives are already simulations. She's right. We're in the Matrix right now.
Oh my god.
I was
Yeah.
joking.
Oh, come on.
Is he?
We've,
All right,
had,
let's
we've
close
had
out.
that conversation
Wrap it up.
before.
Yes.
Rap, time to rap.
You
No,
know-
it's not time to wrap.
And I wanna just
talk about this real quick.
Yeah, so I want to talk about that real quick. But just to kind of wrap up what we were just discussing.
Well, just to make sure.
I just had that epiphany as we had this conversation today. Okay. I just wanted to say that. I hadn't been thinking about it until just right now.
Oh, I know you're looking for the contrarian point of view.
No, I wasn't.
And that's fine.
I wasn't looking for a contrarian point of view.
You just have to feel a sadder life.
I was just like, wow,
This is where we're going.
this is where we're going.
With how we are right now, yeah.
Yes,
Because
that's
nobody's gonna want the ridicule, nobody's gonna want the complainers, nobody's gonna want that. So they're gonna be like, you know what? I'll do this for you, this for you, this for you, this for you. It's gonna compromise
yeah.
to everything.
And
And that's all.
And
that
there's
I'm
not
saying.
gonna be
I think it will go that way.
And
Too.
everybody's happy.
I just don't.
Or
No, not everybody's
depressed.
happy.
I want what I don't want.
They're
That's
trying to bait me right now.
Michael wants what he doesn't want.
Oh
That's
no,
not
it's
what I
like
s-
the
that's
beauty
not
of
what I
movies
said at
is
all.
Give me
is
something that
watching,
I don't
going
want.
into something and then being surprised with something that
That's-
you don't
I don't
like,
want
but then
it.
later you like it.
That's,
I didn't
Have
like
you ever-
this, which makes me like it because I didn't like it.
Sarah,
What's your
have you ever
favorite-
surprised yourself?
what's your favorite food?
Like
Anybody?
scared yourself?
What do you
Like,
mean? I know.
Tim, what's your favorite food?
You know, tacos.
Tacos. Have
Tacos
it-
every day
have
for
it-
the rest of your life.
Have it every meal for the next 30 days and tell me how you feel about it.
Wait, tacos or like any kind of tacos?
That's
One
how you
kind,
feel about
that's
watching
it.
Avengers Infinity War every day, every time.
There's
it
more
shows up
than
on
just
TV
that, though,
Well,
because I have that
with the
choice,
same
right?
ending because you know how it tastes.
What?
You saw how
Sick menu? What?
what?
No, I don't understand what you're saying. Repeat
what
it.
if there were movies where, yes, you watched the Avengers and it was customizable to what you preferred,
Because you want a little bit more salt here, a little bit more pepper there.
But in that,
and
No,
then
'cause then-
now that
no.
you
in that
rewatch
case,
it,
we're not watching.
it changes it because you've changed.
We're not watching the
That's
Avengers
the
anymore.
point.
You're watching your Avengers.
Because
This is
okay, so
probably
okay,
a same Avengers
all right. So the
Lewis
end of How I Met Your
Avengers.
Mother, right? It was really disappointing.
Of what?
How I Met Your Mother.
I've
I
never-
don't think they've seen it.
I've
okay,
never seen
just
it.
for
Okay.
me. Okay.
Okay.
So
You
it,
you-
it
Let her
was-
finish her.
Okay.
No, she's in the
All
middle
right,
of something.
all right,
Fuck,
no, go
man.
ahead, finish.
Go,
Oh, yeah.
go, Sarah.
So it's the story of this one guy throughout his 20s into his 30s
Mhm.
trying to find a wife, right?
He's
Okay.
telling his
Everybody-
kids the story of
He's
how
telling-
he met their mother.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing is him looking for this right girl.
Okay.
At the very end, he finds her, they fall in love, blah, 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 then she dies.
Yeah.
Ow. I hated it. I hated it so much.
And it ended up being the story wasn't really about how he met his mother or how he met the mother of his kids that he's telling the story to, but really about a love story against one of his best friends.
And kind of like at the very end, asking their permission if it'd be okay if he moved on from their mother because she'd been dead so long. And it's kind of like, well, what the fuck? We've been sitting here for 8 seasons trying to like have this perfect fucking life, and then you kill her.
Yeah.
His true
But
happy-
then
his
at
true-
the end, like, or I guess now from seeing it when it came out to now, it's kind of like I love the ending.
Right?
I didn't like
And
it.
there's nothing you would change about it, right?
No, exactly.
Exactly.
Oh no.
Right? But now.
Tim, you're not making your point by
Yeah, I know.
by-
Yeah, I don't
by-
understand.
Yeah, I know that. All right. Okay. I
Okay.
get that. Right?
I get that. Okay.
Not that I've changed, but I think my
Okay. There's someone else out there who's gone through the same things that you did and watched that show and didn't like something, and they still talk about it today. I didn't like this part. I don't get like they did that and that was stupid. Right?
okay sucks.
Yeah. And then to have the ability to go and let's say that was changed for them, that whatever they liked or wanted changed did change for them. They had it changed or they added a feature to it and they watch it. That same person watches it. Let's say there's two of that person in two different worlds. One person watched it, didn't like it
Yeah.
because of a certain reason. The other person liked it all the way to the end. Different from your story, but they liked it.
Then it's
They're
not the
wrong.
same thing though.
Yeah,
It's
it's
no.
not,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
Then you're not
But they
watching.
liked it.
But it no longer became How I Met Your Mother.
It's yeah.
But
How I
it
Met Your
became,
Mother
but it
according
became
to
their
Steve.
How I Met Your Mother.
No.
But that's ridiculous.
No.
It is ridiculous,
No,
right?
no, hold
It's
on, wait.
ridiculous.
And this is the
That's
reason why.
that's
You're
what's
talking-
amazing
you're
about
talking
it.
No.
That's what's so absolutely amazing
Hold on,
about this.
hold on, just-
evolution of
You can't do
entertainment.
Y'all
that
got too
with
expensive.
life,
Let me
though.
have.
You can't do that with
You're talking
life.
about anecdotal stuff. We could
You're
all.
having a good time. But no. Okay, never mind.
Tim, it's gonna happen.
Hold on.
I know it is.
Hey, hold on a second, because we
Oh,
already have what you're
man,
talking
it is.
about. We already have what you're talking about more or less today. You could go through the exact same experience that I could go through. We could all here
Yes.
go through one singular experience and
Yeah.
all come away with 5 different stories, even though the beginning and the outcome were the exact same. Because it has to do with perception. It has to do with your perspective. It's all anecdotal what you're talking about. We could watch the same show and walk away with completely different interpretations of it.
Storytelling.
So is it
I
like
think
The point of the story is just to send a message, and however the receiver perceives it is completely different, but it's still the same story. You're not going to change your story just so, like, okay, you're telling a story to Izzy. Izzy fucking hates it. You're not going to change
do I
your
hate it or
story.
do I not care?
And Izzy,
No, you
Izzy
don't.
fucking
You hate
hates
it.
you.
You hate it. You're not going to change your
Yeah,
story
she has the
so
power to
Izzy will
change.
like it. No, it's your story.
But when the entertainment involves, she has the power.
But if it's your story and I don't like it, I don't really care anymore.
Then you'll move on to something else.
But she still partook in the story.
I wouldn't.
Right.
She just didn't like it.
But she'd like another story.
Maybe.
So we
Unless-
we have that right now, though, yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll
So
have
then,
it-
what are you talking
Oh my
about?
we'll have an
God.
evolved form of it.
A better form of your story.
what I
Just-
was gonna ask is,
To put it,
have you
No.
ever?
That's robbing whoever made the story of their own. Okay, why are you smiling like that? 'Cause I'm confused now.
Because the inevitability.
It's
But
gonna
happening-
happen. So people will make money and sell their product. Yay,
Well-
capitalism. Blah blah blah.
but
Well,
we're,
that's what it's all about. It's about where the money is to be made.
we're having 2 different
The-
conversations.
No, we're
Y'all
not.
talking about the prospects of it happening,
It
and we're
will
talking
happen.
about if it will be good or not.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
we're not saying that it's not going to happen. It's just going to be stupid
And
when
never,
it does.
and never at any point.
It's
And
gonna
that's
be
what I'm.
disgusting
And that's
when
why
it
I say
does.
it's okay.
Yeah.
Because in your world, that's stupid. But in other people's world, they're gonna love it.
And that's why I
And
said
I-
we're
Those
having
people
2
are gonna be
different
dissatisfied with their
and
conversations.
I think
lives.
that's the.
You're trying to get someone to change their aspect and their emotion, which everything we've just explained was
No, I'm-
anecdotal at best.
Have you seen the children nowadays? It's the Twitterverse children and the Tide Pod kids. and
Oh my god.
All them.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna want, and they're gonna get it. You know why? Because
I have
people are gonna want to make money,
There are shit people on Twitter, yes. Some of them children possibly.
and people
And I've
will
seen
make
children-
money off of them.
And I've seen children not on Twitter, and they're completely different people. What you're prescribing today, right now.
But there's money to be made there, and where there's money to be made, whether it's good or
And
bad,
again, we're carrying
I'm
the
looking
same-
for a second
We're-
Detroit Become Human. That's what I'm looking forward
And
to.
you're-
Well, it's different though. It's a game. It's a game versus a movie.
Yeah, because like I said, entertainment has when I gave the example earlier, the
Yeah.
game industry is already evolving, and I think next we're going to be seeing the movie industry evolve.
yes, they look. When I
We're not
first
arguing
started
if it's gonna
playing
happen or
games
not.
and the PlayStation 1
I know
Yeah.
that,
came out,
and you're
They
arguing
were already
that I'm
talking
trying to
about
make you
that.
like it.
Mm-hmm.
that
I'm
games and
I'm saying it's
movie
okay not to like
technology
it.
That's
will,
actually not
at
arguing
one
all the
time, in one day, merge.
Mm-hmm.
Movies and video games will become the same thing.
Yeah, we talked about that too.
Yes.
That's going to
They
be.
will.
I'm gonna hold on to my Blu-ray forever
You
and
and,
keep my.
that's what Tim and I were just
And it's
saying.
going to become a
Okay.
new genre.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna be that bitter old lady watching fucking TV
Yeah.
land by myself.
Yes,
Okay.
it will
for
be
you.
Nick and Night.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
And that's
Great, I'll be
nothing-
happy for you.
Okay.
and there's nothing wrong with that.
Okay.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Don't get upset.
I'm not.
about it.
I'm not getting upset. I'm just saying that that's.
You're
gonna
raising
be,
your voice at
I'm not getting upset. I'm not saying you guys are wrong. I'm just saying.
The
It's
new
gonna-
genre, I think, is going to be great.
That-
We're talking
Yeah.
about the philosophy behind.
Yes.
Okay, just
yeah.
real quickly, y'all are talking about if it's going to happen or not. We've already
Yeah.
agreed that it will happen more than likely.
Cool.
Okay, we're talking about the philosophy. What we're saying is, you say you make your choices, you'll be happy because you made those choices, right?
Mhm.
But how do you know, like, that that happiness was true. Does that make sense? And the only reason, real quickly, the only reason I bring it up is what Sarah brought up with How I Met Your Mother. It wasn't, the story was about how he met the mother, but the real story underneath it, his true happiness came from getting with his best friend. Wasn't with him finding what he wanted, the person he was looking for, his wife, the mother, was about him going back to the person he truly loved. You have it, yes, okay.
Anyway,
And so what I'm saying is, in that regard, just because you want something doesn't mean you really want it, if that makes any sense. I don't know how
just
to best
because you
describe
want something doesn't mean that it's the best thing for you.
that too, but it's like, how do you know something that you want if you don't know about it? Because you made your choice against that already. That makes sense?
It makes total sense.
It's too.
Well, then we're in agreement.
It's absolutely.
Yes.
Well, we didn't start at 12 either, so
Oh, okay.
we actually
Yeah,
started
It
with
makes
12:40.
it makes total sense what you're saying. It really does. And in the world that
And this is how it
it's
goes
going-
to establish again, because it's
the
going to
world
happen.
that it's going
Watch,
to
I
be an
know.
entertainment, right?
it's going to happen.
Yeah.
And the
Okay.
new genre.
And this
See, and you're flipping it back to a conversation that doesn't make sense to what we're talking about. What we're talking about.
no, you're
So we both agree it will come out, and you can disagree with Sarah and I on the philosophy of
Yeah,
is
but-
it what you truly want. We're not going to get any further than that.
no. I think
We agree
can,
with
yeah.
y'all's premise. You disagree with our premise. That's fine. They're two different conversations.
No, I
What are you gonna
think
say?
no. I think, and we can move on because we're a Star Wars podcast. But I think
I want Kylo Ren riding the battle on a fucking T-Rex
yeah,
as he's punching his mother in the face.
And that's what you're gonna get.
yeah.
Fuck yes.
No.
Why?
I never have to leave my bathroom.
Bathroom.
Well, you don't live your day
What
in
are you
fantasy
doing in
land,
there?
but you gotta take a shit sometimes. You don't want to sit in your living room, do you?
Why wouldn't you want that?
But getting back to this KOTOR thing though,
Okay. Yes.
we're not gonna get anywhere
Getting
with that.
back to this.
I just wanted to bring us in real quickly. Like, I don't know if they're gonna be.
KOTOR, I get it.
I just fainted.
I wanted
So getting back to this though, I don't know if it's because they're gonna pick and choose what they want to fit the timeline to make it canon or not. But it's interesting. The reason for that is because I guess Knights of the Old Republic that came out, I think it was on PS1.
hmm You could choose whether you wanted to be dark side, light side, bounty hunter. You could pick.
So Knights of the Knights of the
Yeah,
Old
that's what's
Republic.
absolutely great about it. How the fuck you up is?
I'm sorry. Go.
Oh,
Go.
fuck it. I don't know.
Just messing with you, man.
No,
No, we're
that's
just-
something really relevant to
we're
this
just
podcast.
joking,
but we
man.
can't have
Go,
a
go, go, go.
conversation
We're
about
fucking
it.
around, man.
Yeah, we're just having fun.
Well, that's okay. I'll just text about it.
No, come on. Don't be like that. I was just being playful.
Jesus Christ.
The cat that's in the arms of the mouse is in the arms of the cat. The mouse is still having fun. 4 years, not the letter 4, but FOR. For years, there has been a company redoing this game with resolution and everything, like
Updating it.
for update,
Yeah.
and not even changing the game, but just making it
Well, it's
for
LucasArts.
today's resolution.
Isn't it through LucasArts?
No,
No. Okay.
it's a group called Aperion.
Okay. Okay.
Disney, after they've done this for many years, and I think they're kind of getting close to finishing.
Mhm.
Disney came in and said, "Fuck you, you can't do this anymore. Cease and desist everything that you're doing."
Yeah.
And I just wanted to bring that to the table because I think that's ridiculous. But it isn't. It's Disney's project,
Yeah.
so I guess they could technically make it for themselves. But it's having Knights of the Old Republic, but like 4K resolution with everything is perfect. It doesn't look blocky. It doesn't
Yeah.
look like playing a game with
It just came out with the
pixels.
in 8K this year.
Not what we're talking about, Tim.
Yeah.
I just wanted to say that.
I know it's not, but I like to talk about the future.
Hi, Slyku
And,
the Great.
By the time it comes out, I think 8K will be ready to go.
Oh, somebody had a comment through it. Wait.
Someone saying, "Hey guys,
Oh,
Slyku
hey.
the Great." I don't know who Slyku is. Who are you, Slyku?
Sly.
What's up?
What's up?
Coup de Gray.
I don't know.
Have any Star Wars questions? Feel free to ask
This is Taylor.
Taylor.
We gotta go.
Compton
yeah.
or
Which Taylor? I know
Yes.
many Taylors.
Yeah.
Are you a female? Are you a male?
Are you a cat? Are you a dog?
Are you one of those?
are you a
The
dinosaur?
game where are you a male? No, and you flip down all the people.
Actually, I
Oh, against
don't
you.
know
Yeah.
which Taylor.
Does he look like a bitch?
I would assume the Taylor, but I don't want to get it wrong.
It says Tim should know.
What if, since they nixed the Boba Fett movie?
Unofficially.
Wait, what?
Officially, they unofficially nixed a movie that was unofficially
Announced.
announced.
It was unofficially announced, and they did away with.
That's
an
like them coming out.
unofficially announced movie.
That's like me.
I know too many Taylors.
I made myself laugh. they, they,
I got
Man.
left behind 30 minutes ago.
Yeah.
My brain hurts now.
that usually happens in conversations.
Shoot, I forgot what I was going to
Yeah.
say. Damn.
You drunk them?
No, but I'm high drunk.
He's
Huh?
drunk on
What?
life
The
High
joke?
High drunk?
Yeah,
That
like
makes no sense.
You're
Yeah.
high?
because of what the
well,
conversation.
the conversation was about. Yeah, it was like,
So you're adrenaline high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're a drunk off your adrenaline.
Yes.
yeah.
Okay,
Adrenaline
so-
drunk.
So, so
But in the future, if you want to call it that, you can.
what was I gonna say?
You're talking about Boba Fett or what?
No.
Talking about Mark Hamill.
He said, "Wow, Taylor M. I'm
I
offended."
think I was gonna
Oh,
go with
see?
the 8K.
I said that.
Maxwell?
Yeah.
Oh.
I said Compton Maxwell.
Well, there's so many. How do we know?
I don't know.
I mean, I know Taylor's outside of HP too. So.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Taylor.
Yeah, you're not the only Taylor.
Don't
Taylor.
flatter yourself, Taylor.
Maybe.
Oh my goodness.
I'm attacking
But Tim didn't remember you, and that's all you need
Yeah.
to focus on.
I
But in the
believe
future, you can make it to
Because
where
you
are the
can
only
choose your
Taylor.
reality on who you get pissed off at, and I choose you, Timothy,
yeah,
the only one that
8K,
matters.
8K.
8K.
Like
So
AK.
it took 4K about 4 years to be
Resolution for your television.
for Netflix to finally
For
come
your
out.
phone.
So 4K was available in 2014, and it took 4 years until Netflix decided, you know what, we can make our content 4K because people have 4K TVs now.
Oh my
I'm saying Knights of the Old Republic can make it 8K because 4 years from now, people will have 8K TVs.
They've been designing it for years, Tim.
Yeah, they have. But now it's been in production for years. Yes,
I
I've
know
known about 8K for years.
before
But
4K.
we're
now,
not. They're
Before
talking about doing the games themselves because originally it was like what 720 resolution.
yes, and
They're
then it
just
went
trying to
1080.
make it better. They're not trying to make it completely state of the
Remember how I
art.
said it takes 5 years to do it? Plus, the plan on the new platform for PlayStation 5, they're planning to do
It won't
8K.
be on. It's not a sellable game.
Which game?
They're
you
doing
talking
it for. That's what we're talking about. Knights of the Old
about?
Republic,
That's what I'm
fool.
talking about, yeah.
They're not selling the game. They're not giving it away. It's not done by LucasArts. It was for themselves.
Lucasfilms?
Obsidian. Is that what the
The developers,
yeah? What was it called again?
Aperion,
Aperion. It was for
Ape
them,
Iron.
right? It was for themselves. They were making it.
It was for themselves, but I think they're going to release it to people if they wanted it because they weren't going to make money off of it.
Yeah.
It was just a project they wanted to do for themselves. It wasn't anything that they're going to say like, "Hey, give us $5 for doing that," because that would be property, intellectual property.
Yes. So Star Wars in 8K.
Only if you want it to be.
Yeah.
Only I wanted it
Sure.
in low definition, grainy.
I don't want to change. I
The
like it the way it
VHS.
is. The way it was made, I like it.
Yeah.
Okay, in your future, you can have it that way.
Would y'all play a game like that?
Like what?
Customizable Knights of the Old Republic.
No.
You're not a gamer?
I don't game. I don't watch movies.
We had 2 different endings, the first one.
Yeah. Sure. If you had more time.
She
No.
won't do it.
No?
No.
Yeah, no, I mean, be
No,
honest.
because I mean that's the point of making something. I've already explained this, but that's the point of
Authenticity.
making
Uh-huh.
something for somebody is you're telling your own story
I love
for
Game of
them
Thrones.
to experience and interpret
Passionately.
through their own perspective.
Do what?
I
Game of
wouldn't
Thrones.
want. I mean, it'd be. I don't know.
I'd rather talk to myself.
So what if Ned Stark was still alive? What if you had the choice that Ned Stark could be alive right now?
That's me.
If
It's
Sir,
because it's your
Like I could say, oh,
Game of Thrones.
you know, like okay, bringing it
if,
back to
yeah, like I said, like if
Infinity
Serial
Wars,
Pharrell
that hurt. Like,
and
I
Jack and
cried
Hagar are not the
a
same
little
person,
bit. But you know,
I'm gonna be a little.
would I want to
disappointed.
change it? No.
If they are the same person,
I mean,
Oh,
they
I think
have
that
like
they should be.
18 different
That'd be freaking
universes
awesome.
Mhm.
yeah,
in
would
the
be,
comics anyway.
Right?
So I could be like,
They should
oh, I
be.
reject that universe and go to
Yeah.
this one.
Fucking, I love
But
that
somebody
shit,
else
man.
still wrote it.
Yeah.
You know, somebody else still made it their own
Mhm.
for everybody to interpret. So that's I don't know. If the game, I mean,
But I would
obviously
still love
they
it,
would.
man.
The makers would want people to have their own experiences. I don't know. I don't play games. I'm really bad.
No,
I'm bad at playing.
You know, we haven't talked about
If,
Pink today, but this is a shit show.
If Serial Pharrell and Jack and
Oh.
Hagar were the same person,
If
on
what?
Game of Thrones, Serial Pharrell.
Uh-huh.
I feel like I love Game of Thrones, man.
Yeah.
I don't think
I
I,
love
would change
Naruto.
anything about it. But in the end of the
And I think it
show,
would be
by
so
the
much
end of the
worse to
show,
do
Makes intense eye
I think I would be a little bit disappointed
300 episodes in.
if Jack and
I know,
Hagar
I've been watching that for
So
forever.
probably watch
and Sarah Pharrell
600
weren't the
episodes.
same.
So
Isn't that good?
Oh, okay.
Why does it like anime?
That's interesting.
I would love for that to be like he'd been
Those boys
helping
are-
Arya this whole time. Like
Yeah.
he changed his look to Jack and then Jack can change his look again to
Yeah.
go back to the many-faced god, and then she found
But
him
if they
there.
weren't, would you stop watching it and change it?
No, I still love the show.
But if you had,
Still love it.
what if it aired and it wasn't what you wanted, so you changed it, and then you got what you want?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like a fraud, like a forgery?
No, I think I'm a great
No.
storyteller.
No, if it was my
Speak to yourself on that
if
account.
it was my first experience watching it, and that's how I wanted it to be, and it happened that way,
Then he'd love it.
If
I
it was your
fucking love
first, if it was your first,
I love
experience,
it better than the real version that someone else saw. Or I wouldn't say real, I'm sorry, because we have that version now, but like the other version that someone else saw and then they love that, I would have to disagree and say, hey, you should see it with that.
But that
character
changes
in it.
everything else, though.
Because sometimes the death
It
of that
does,
character
but
I would love it.
develops.
because it wouldn't be objective anymore; it'd be subjective.
Yeah. Because then you would tell Sarah, like, man, I'm at the point where Ned Stark is going to get his head cut off or whatever. And
And I'm like, oh no,
Ooh,
wait. What
case
if that
in point.
happens? I changed that.
Case
That
in
didn't
point.
happen.
yeah.
Donald Trump is your president, whether you like.
Oh,
hold on a second.
God.
Hold on. This is relevant.
There we go.
Donald Trump is your president, objectively, whether you like it or not. He is the president of the United States. If you're a resident of the
But you
United
can go
States,
into
he's
your
your
little delusional
president.
land and change it.
But if you want to be delusional because you don't accept that because you want something else, you can say he's not my president. That's the same conversation that we're having.
That's not.
No.
In
because
part,
we're-
that's the same
we're talking
conversation we're
about
having.
entertainment.
Yeah.
What we're talking about is being delusional, not accepting reality.
Whoa.
And what ends up-
What are you talking about?
What are you saying?
Entertainment is not
Entertainment
reality.
is not reality, yeah.
Entertainment is
But
not
there's a
reality.
reality.
there's still a reality aspect of
No,
having what
there isn't.
someone's idea was and then
Unless-
manipulating it because you didn't like it.
Unless it is a true story, happened factually, entertainment is not real.
So you're saying in your world and society in the future,
Fiction.
you don't want to watch a true story that you can't customize because you're saying whatever you want. I want a customizable true story.
I wouldn't mind doing that
I
every
wouldn't
once in a
mind
while.
either, yeah.
Yeah.
What, really?
Yeah.
That's a paradox on itself. That doesn't make sense.
Why not?
It's an oxymoron. I want a customizable true story.
Yeah.
How can you be watching this true story about something that hasn't happened, that has happened, yet change it?
Oh, you're talking about something different then. Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't change a true story.
Yeah, I think he just flipped that. But
Yeah.
But you're talking about you can watch whatever you want
I think
to.
he's talking about like documentaries in the future.
Oh, well, you can't
Documentaries.
change a documentary.
Yeah, that would say documentary. That's gotta be.
But it's completely customizable. It's entertainment. It's a video game. No, it's a
yeah,
movie.
that's a different.
No, it's reality.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a different genre. You can't include documentaries. In
And that's what we're talking about. We're talking mediums,
I mean, you kind
content.
of want, but it's
two different
weird.
things. Y'all's reality is Depressing.
Then that means the future is depressing.
I'm gonna embrace it,
Life is
man.
depressing. So.
I'll embrace it all the way.
There is
It's
no,
just,
there is
I
no
mean, I
fate
think
but
you're
what you make.
you're expounding that upon the natural life that we're living. I think Tim and I are just talking about entertainment value. That's it.
Because I think it goes further than that.
For some people, it will,
I
because
think
some people play video games or watch movies or binge on Netflix for.
Century after century,
Hours
entertainment
of
has
time.
been evolving, and we're getting ready to evolve again. I think.
Yeah,
Our technology's evolved, but us as a people, have we? No,
It's- we're moving
I
forward.
don't think so.
we have to.
I think we're devolving.
We have to keep up with the technology.
I think we're devolving with anything.
If we
I'm offended by
devolve-
what you said. Let me go to Twitter to complain.
If
You know what I
we
mean?
devolve, we devolve. If he dies, he dies.
You were right here. He was right here in my arms.
Right here, in my hand. About right here. In my hand.
Taylor, no. Taylor, this is a conversation we've been having. I'm not strictly on politics. It's something we've been talking about the last, Jesus Christ, 30,
Like
40
30
minutes.
Yeah.
You saying I can't fight?
What is that from?
I just told you your father died in my hand.
Right here in my arms.
Right here.
What is that from?
Creed trailer. The 3-2 trailer.
What? I did not get it
Creed
clear.
trailer.
From what?
The
Creed
Creed
2.
2 trailer.
The trailer.
It's in there? It's in there? No, I don't know. That's funny.
All right. That's a
He
wrap.
didn't throw the damn
I think it's around like
I
an
didn't
hour ago.
I think it was around 5 minutes into that one conversation. 45 minutes ago.
I'll tell you right now. When you're that ring, I'm not throwing that damn.
All right, guys, that's episode 39 of the Four Stroke Podcast. I am Micah.
Okay.
I don't even know who the hell I am anymore.
I'm delusional.
You can be whoever you want. And I am Squirrely, the pig-faced monkey.
Oh my god.
Excellent.
And I guess that's it.
Peace.
Where's your
I
class?
guess that's it.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh my god. I gotta go get ready for work.
We had a candy draft.
I don't really care about all the entertainment stuff.
Oh my god. We did have a candy draft. We didn't talk about it.
Oh my goodness, that was funny.
That's just scary. Like watching, there's a show on Netflix called Black Mirror. And
Uh-huh.
it's pretty much like the progression of society into like eyeball cameras.
Oh, you know,
and-
that episode
Recording
about the social app. I'm gonna give you a 5-star review kind of thing.
Yeah,
They have it in Japan.
really.
It's a soft opening program for it, but like I don't know if it's connected to anything. Like if you get like benefits of it, but they do have like a program with that. That basically, as you're walking by, you can rate like, Izzy, I like the way your hair is. I'm gonna give you 5 stars.
Oh,
Sam, that shirt sucks. I'm gonna give you a 1 star.
Black Mirror.
Well, no, there's an episode of Black Mirror, but they actually have a very similar program like that they initiated I think a few months ago. It's either in Japan or
That's
China or
fucked
something.
up.
That's funny.
That's literally judging a book by its cover.
I
You
played a
don't know
game
that
like that,
person.
But that's
It's fucked up.
There's a
What?
game. There's a game.
I think we all do that though.
Yeah, but I mean to ourselves.
Yeah.
Not publishing it. Because what if that person had the app too and they're like, oh my god, everybody gave me a 1 star. Let me just go jump off a fucking building.
they had. Well, I mean, did they have that in the show?
I don't remember.
There's
I don't remember how
I
it
hate your
worked
blouse.
out.
You should jump
There's a
off of
computer
it.
game.
That's how people are though.
Mhm.
Where there's a
That's mental.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm sorry. Go Tim.
No, go.
He said, "I like your
That's
fridge,"
not
but he
gonna
can't
work
even.
out.
Oh, he
There's a,
can't
there's
see
a
it.
computer game I'm playing where the characters. You can create your own character. You can have like 8 characters.
Creep, right?
Oh, you're
And you're playing. in the
No, that's
world,
what he
but
said.
Players can play in that same
He said,
world.
I like your fridge.
Well, if you meet another player in the same world by chance, or you're just crossing paths, or you
Boots and
decide to
cats and
be in the
boots and
same
cats
party
and
to go
boots and
fight a
boots.
boss, or
And cats
you can do a
and
bunch of
cats
stuff
and
in this
boots and
game
cats and
together.
cats.
Mhm.
but you can also there's a thing in there where you can give another character popular